Welcome to Ministry Moments. Lord willing, every Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time, we'll come to bring some thoughts to you about the ministry. I start my 49th year next April 2nd to be exact. And so all of these things that God has allowed me to learn, I'm standing on the shoulders of those who preceded me. So these are not unique to me, but certainly they are credited to the men who in the past taught me and taught men like me. And so I enjoy doing this. And so I hope that you'll subscribe. By the way, you can go to solvechurchproblems.com, and we've added Ministry Moments on there as one of those areas that you can go ahead and then click. I'm not sure how the thing works, but you'll see it written out there. Just click it and you'll be able to see the Ministry Moments, and go to Ministry Moments YouTube and you'll see the ones that we have done already. And we want this to be very practical, very helpful, and get us back to the old time religion. It still works. It doesn't, the reason it doesn't work is because we don't work it. And so much that has been taught to us from the men who preceded us, Brother Roloff, Brother Hiles, Tom Malone, Brother Robertson, just on and on it goes. And these great men had great churches because of these ingredients that we talk about every Friday. So here's it. Today, I want to talk to you about music. So hope you'll get a pen out and a piece of paper and write some things down. Longview Baptist Temple, everybody who's ever attended will tell you it was the best music program in the country. And we loved it when folks would come from around the country and around the world to come to our soul winning clinic. That was an annual affair. And then they could see and get a little foretaste of what heaven's music's like, because Paul Duckett Jr., in my mind, was the best leader of the musical program of anybody that I know of. Dr. Jennifer Petticofer was a tremendous coordinator. And the two of them gave us the best music I have ever heard in my life. I'm talking about not using little ditties, and we took the old time songs, old hymns, and we made them come alive. So I'm going to talk to you about that, because I believe that it's an important thing to have the right. Now, to be honest with you, we had people in our town who'd come and sit for the music and then leave before I preached. So they loved the music, but I guess they didn't want to hear me preach. I don't know. But the music is like a clean plate that you put the steak on. And that's why it's important that you have the right kind of music. And the underlying elements, the pillars that hold up this music program, is essential to everyday living. So I want to talk to you about music. So get your pen out, write this down. Number one, character is the main ingredient. Character is the main ingredient. The thing about practicing, the thing about, Dr. Rice would say, now play it like it's written now. Playing it like it's written, and the importance of the right kind of melody and all that supports the music. All of that is null and void if there is no character, no discipline. The word disciple itself means disciplined one. So in your music program, it's very important that you emphasize character. It may take forever for them to get the basics down of the piano or the violin or the hobo or a harp or whatever it might be. But all of that energy and all of that character and all of that work that goes into it is what God blesses. So character is the important ingredient, the main ingredient that helps to make for a great music ministry and a music program. Number two, always choose character over talent. Always choose character over talent. I'd rather have somebody who practice and practice and practice and practice than somebody who doesn't have to practice and just gets up and talent carries them. Talent is not the answer. Character is the answer. Providing the Lord Jesus Christ, your body, your soul, your spirit, and disciplining yourself to have character. That's very important. I don't know how well you, it doesn't matter how well you sing, it's how well you practice. It's the practice. It's all, I can still hear our football coach saying, we've got to keep the fundamentals, do the fundamentals. And we would go through the fundamentals, and then he would add to those fundamentals. And the men who got to play were the ones who worked hard in practice. Those are the ones that got to start. Those are the ones that were able to be a part of that team. So, number one, character is the main ingredient. Number two, choose character over talent. Because somebody can warble real well doesn't mean that you ought to use them or highlight them to be a representative of your music program. So number one, character is the important and most important ingredient. Number two, choose character over talent every time. Number three, it takes discipline to master music. It takes discipline to master music, whether it be instrument or whether it be vocal. It doesn't matter. It takes discipline to master music. So if your music program is to be what it ought to be, I like that. I'll talk about it in a minute, but I'd start with the grade school. I would start by teaching them and practice, learn it. Character. And I think it's more important for you to build that into the elementary and junior high musicians, so that they can be prepared as they do learn and they do build on what they have been taught. Great things can happen. Again, Longview Baptist Temple is the greatest music in the world, as far as I was concerned. And Paul Duckett Jr. was the reason. Dr. Jennifer Petticofer was the reason. And others who helped support them in this matter of practice. You didn't get up and sing a special at Longview Baptist Temple unless you've been practiced. If you didn't practice a certain amount of time, she used to have some 72 different groups that she worked with. And she, of course, Mrs. Petticofer, had help. But my point being that character is the main ingredient. Number two, choose character over talent every time. If you've got a talented person who doesn't go soul winning, who's not separated from the world, then don't choose them because they can warble better than the other. I'd rather have the other so the Holy Spirit could flow through their spirit and bring conviction. So number one, character is the main ingredient. Number two, choose character over talent. Number three, it takes a discipline to master music, whether it be instruments or whether it be vocal. Number six, do not build a music department, build one musician. We say again, do not build a music department. You build one musician. You take and have them take lessons. You individually work with them. Then you can put them together. When the orchestra that we had the best. Brother Duckett would take a group over here, a group over here, and a group over here, and he would work with them individually. Then he would bring them together. And that's how it works. All right, so number one, character is the main ingredient. Build your ministry on character. Number two, choose character over talent. If I'm brought down to a point of having to make a decision, I'm going to choose character over talent every time. Number three, it takes discipline to master music, whether it be instrumental or whether it be vocal. Number four, do not build a music department, build one musician. Do not build a music department, build one musician. Let's see, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, number five. Do not buy into the worship team concept. Don't buy into it. They may put on a pretty show, but I want souls saved. I want people born again. I want backsliders to get right with God. I want cold-hearted people not just to become lukewarm, but get on fire for God. And you can't do that as long as you emphasize and promote talent. When you promote talent, I'd rather have some dear saint who gets off key just a little bit, but she's a soul winner and she loves God. And that's why it's imperative that you have don't buy into this worship team concept. First of all, just look at the ones up there. They got their miniskirts on, they got their skinny jeans on, and it's not a picture of separation from the world. Church ought to be a foretaste of heaven. It should bring man up to God, not God down to man. So please understand, you've got an important challenge here in the area of your music ministry. Number one, character is the main ingredient. Number two, choose character over talent. Number three, it takes discipline to master music, whether it be instrumental or vocal or whatever. Next, do not build a music department, build one musician. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're number 5, right? Okay. Do not buy into the worship team concept. Don't do it. Those churches aren't getting people saved. They're not having a great move of God. The choir at First Baptist Church of Hamlet was tremendous. The choir we had at Longview Baptist Temple was tremendous, spiritual, and the music was fantastic. Not because it was talent, because they had to work. Our orchestra started out with one man playing a trumpet. That's how it got started. Then we added 2 men playing a trumpet. That's how we got started. But we practiced. We practiced. All right. I said, number 1, character is the main ingredient. Number 2, choose character over talent. Number 3, it takes discipline to master music. And number 4, do not build a music department, build one musician. Number 5, do not buy into the worship team concept. Number 6, make the music ministry accessible. Make the music ministry accessible. I told Brother Duckett over and over again, and he's in heaven now. What a great staff member he was. But I said, you better get a new choir member this week. Otherwise, a year from now, you won't have as good a choir as you got now. Constantly looking for new people to get in, make it accessible. I would tell the bus ministry, you better get some new workers, because if you don't, it'll die on its own. You got to be constantly recruiting, but make the music accessible. Somebody says, well, I can't sing very well. We'll help you. We'll help you. We like it because you're going soul winning. We like it because you're separate from the world. We like it because you're give tithes and offers. We like it because you're faithful to church when the doors are open. We like that. So let us take you and let us help you. Brother Duckett said to me when he went to work for me, he said, Brother Cray, I've only had 5 baptisms my whole life. I'm not the soul winner. You need to get a soul winner. I said, no. I'll teach you how to win souls. I'll help you win souls. You've been loyal to your dad. You've been a loyal man. Listen, I'll take that. I'll help you to be a soul. And I did. The week before he died, he stuck his head in our staff meeting and said, Preacher, I've got to go to the hospital and make some visits. Was tremendous at it. And he said, but Sunday, I've got 2 lined up for Sunday. He had people down the aisle 3 weeks after his death. And some of them came, didn't even know he had died. And they would ask, where's Brother Duckett? And then I'd have to tell them. And it was happy for heaven, but sad for earth. But anyway, make the music ministry accessible. Get people involved in it. You don't go around looking for people that can warble. Look for people that have character. Number 1, music. We're talking about music now. Character is the main ingredient. Number 2, choose character over talent. Number 3, it takes discipline to master music, whether it be an instrumentalist, vocalist. They'll all tell you it just takes a lot of hard work. Next, do not build a music department. Build one musician. Next, do not buy into the worship team concept. Run from it. It's charismatic. It's Pentecostal. It's lose your salvation. It's not King James based, and you run from it. You don't have to change the color of the lights. That doesn't impress God. I remember one time my wife and I went to hear John Rice, and John Rice outside of Kankakee, Illinois, was preaching, and they had a organist that was from the Nazarene College. He was a professor at this Baptist church, and Brother Rice got down to the end, and he started close the service out. I was going to pray. Well, he started praying. Well, the organist kept playing while he was praying. He stopped and looked at him and said, "Don't play while I'm praying." So back to praying. Well, the stupid organist, he went ahead and played again. And John Rice stopped and said, don't play that organ when I'm praying. And he's close down prayer. Well, the guy did it a 3rd time. And John Rice stopped and looked over and said, shut that box off. Scared us to death. Shut that box off. If that's what gets God's attention, let's clear out these pews. Get us a dance band. Let's really do it up right. He said, but shut it off while I'm praying. Anyway, he got through. And the pastor got up and called the organist's name. And he said, brother, when Dr. Rice is here now, you remember, you don't play while he's praying. But when I get up to pray, you can go ahead and play. John Rice got up from his chair, walked up, moved the pastor over, got the microphone, and said, "You'll not mock God's man. I'll not be back." And he walked down the center door, walked out the door. That's just, I don't know why I told you that. It looked like you needed it. But character, discipline, very important. Dr. Rice said, play it like it's written, play it like it's written. So, number one, character is the main ingredient. Don't forget that. Disciple, discipline, one. All right, number two, choose character over talent every time. Number three, it takes discipline to master music, whether it be instrumental or vocal, doesn't matter. Next, do not build a music department, build one musician. Just train them, have them take lessons, let them learn. Mrs. Petticofer, she was a teenager when I went to Longview Baptist Temple, and she took lessons, and she became the best. And you build one musician, not a music department. Next, do not buy into the worship team concept. Run from it. Don't listen to them. They're going to lead you astray. Make the music ministry accessible. Use those dear saints of God. Next, start with grade school. Start with grade school. I got interrupted there. Start with, it was the president. He wanted to get a hold of me, ask my advice. I'll call him back. Start with grade school students. We would go down to the elementary grades and get them started there in music. Get them in the habit of practice, get them the habit of discipline, get them in the habit of building character. It takes character. The two great leaders in fundamentalism when we were introduced in the early 70s was Jerry Falwell and Jack Hyles. Jack Hyles taught character. Jerry Falwell used tape music, background music. He paid one singer $1,000 a week just to sing. And he was a Nazarene. He wasn't a member of Thomas Road Baptist Church. So you have two alternatives here of heroes, if you please. I chose the discipline of Jack Hyles. I did not choose the Jerry Falwell direction. And look what's happened, how things have really turned out, because Liberty Baptist University, I wouldn't send my dog to Liberty. I wouldn't sit. In fact, I'd want to plug his ears, keep him away from him. Number one, character is the main ingredient. Choose character over talent. It takes discipline to master music. Do not build a music department, build one musician. Do not build into the worship team concept. Make the music ministry accessible. And then next, start with grade school students. Start while they're young and get them in the habit of practicing and building their character. It takes discipline, it takes character. Next, use soul winners when it gets right down to it. Now, don't you invite somebody to be a part of the choir. It's not a soul winner, not separated from the world and so on. But soul winning, have a heart for souls. If they have a heart for souls, there'd be no problem in separation from the world. If they have a heart for souls, there'll be no problem giving tithes and offerings. If they have a heart for souls, there's nothing to worry about with the wrong kind of music. So use soul winners. And last of all, have annual recitals. Have annual recitals. We start up with one music recital. Then we went to two. We had so many, we divided it up into two, and we would have it on a Friday night, and people would come and they'd watch their children. But it was something the kids looked forward to. Even the little ones look forward to it. But it's a way of building character and discipline. You got it? Music program's important. It's like a clean plate, putting a steak on top of that plate. And you want to make sure that the program that you have doesn't reflect the world. Not that at all. And it doesn't reflect the religious world either. But it's songs and hymns written right and sung appropriately according to the music. It takes character. It takes discipline. Choose that route. I'm glad we did, because we chose that route. We didn't bring God down to man. We did our best to bring man up to God. Well, I hope this helped you, and God bless you. Praying for you. I want you to make sure that you work hard to win somebody to Christ tomorrow. So preparation day, I call it, for the Lord's Day. get people lined up. But the music is very, very important. Be very careful about your music program. God bless you. I'll see you next week for Ministry Moments.